Hello friends, this is Fox Nival Studios. Today we are here with new chapter What if Naruto was the angelic swordsman? Guys, before starting story please subscribe our channel. Now let's begin the story. Come on sensei. This mission turned out fine, ye know. And the next one has to be an even better one. And with a bigger adventure. We all got stronger, and we saved a whole island. Believe it. We need to get another C rank, or an even higher mission to do more. Ya know. Uzumaki Naruto exclaimed to his teacher. Team 7 were traveling home at a relaxing, smooth pace. Leaving the land of waves behind them and returning home after the completion of their first C-rank mission. As they strolled near a river connected to the ocean, Uchiha Sasuke let out a soft grunt. Agreeing with his attention-needy teammate, but unwilling to admit it. Haruno Sakura did not share his sentiment. Naruto. This mission wasn't even supposed to be this dangerous in the first place. Sasuke-kun almost died from that ninja Haku. And we had to rescue Kakashi-sensei from Zabuza's water prison. It would be better if we avoided dangerous situations like that until we're much stronger. Oh, come on Sakura-chan. D ranks are worse than listening to Iruka-sensei. I don't want to go back to babysitting or chasing that crazy cat. Plus, we got a lot better on this one than anything we did on those chores. Right, Kakashi-sensei. 3 sets of eyes trained on the tallest figure in the group. The legendary copy Nin Hatake Kakashi. Veteran ninja. Former Anbu. The man with 1,000 jutsu. With his single eye trained on a steaming, erotic scene in his favorite Icha Icha book. Still, the man wasn't absent-minded. No, we probably won't take another C rank for quite some time after this one. Whaaaaatt. 2 of the genin shouted. While one of them huffed in silent frustration. But sensei. None of us want to go back to lame kid stuff, come on. You're just saying that because you like being late and lazy all the time. Believe it. Naruto cried. Pointing a figure roughly at his sensei. He's got a good point. Uchiha Sasuke silently agreed. My Sharingan finally awakened during that fight with Haku. My chakra control also grew during those tree exercises. But grr, the Avenger quietly growled. But I froze up when we first encountered Zabuza. Just the sheer presence of his killing intent had me trembling with fear and doubt. He will definitely have more when I finally face him. I need to find more challenges and dangers to improve. Sakura spoke up. Naruto. What if we run into any rouge ninja like Zabuza again? Plus, after finding out what kind of ninja he was, and what some villages make ninja do. Her eyes became downcast, filled with conflicting emotions. Maybe being a ninja isn't so great after all. Sure, Leaf Ninja would never do any stuff like that. But with so many dangerous people out here, spending more time inside the village and getting stronger in a safe place would be better for us. Naruto frowned in frustration. No way Sakura-chan. The best way to awe. The blonde yelled in pain, hopping on one foot while his right toes were throbbing. Kakashi put down his book and examined his injured genin. Naruto. Do try to keep watch of where you're going. Stubbing your foot on a rock in shinobi sandals can be painful, and rather clumsy. Oh. Yeah. I get it. Oh, that really hurt. The boy complained, holding his open-toed right foot. Looking down, he glared at the rock that had gotten in his way. Only to see that it wasn't a rock. A clay bottle of medium size rested on the ground. Several deep cracks accented its purple-gray body, with a rubber cork in the mouth. What is that? Bending down, Kakashi lifted it into his hands, while curiosity drew Sasuke and Sakura closer. Now how did a lamp like this end up just sitting here in the road? The Jonin asked aimlessly. Can I keep it? An excitable blonde asked. Why would you want something that beaten up and antiqued? It's practically useless, Sakura asked. With a shrug, Kakashi handed the jar to Naruto. Who gave it an experimental shake. Hey, there's something inside. It won't open. Naruto was pulling hard on the cork. Harder, and even harder as his curiosity grew. Grr. Naruto. That really isn't a good use for your teeth. Kakashi tried to stop the boy as his teeth were sunk into the cork. It took a few moments to get the blonde to start down the road again. But he kept trying to open the bottle, grumbling all the while. Naruto, why are shish? Sakura looked up, as her sensei quietly silenced her question. If Naruto wants to keep it, Just let him. Sakura, the Jonin whispered. Besides, working on that cork has kept him from asking more questions. If you get him to stop, then he'll still be loud all the way back to the village. Sakura gaped at her sensei in awe. They smiled in appreciation and chose to enjoy the relatively quieter setting. Later that night, Team 7 made camp in a small clearing away from the road. Most of them were gathered around the fire, with Sakura edging closer to Sasuke. The last Uchiha internally groaned as a familiar question formed on Sakura's lips. AAAUUUUHHHHHGGGGGGG. Come on and open, already, come on, come on. Gah. Naruto, will you stop already? What's so important to make you want to open that piece of garbage anyway? Sasuke's eyes turned to Naruto. Frustrated by the blonde's clueless obsession, even if he was thankful that the guy had distracted Sakura from him. It's not junk, Sakura-chan. I found it, and I want to keep it. Plus, I'm really, really close. The boy kept yanking on the bottle, as Sakura began to argue with him over how stupid and useless moving the cork was. Kakashi glanced up towards the pair. Well, it may have distracted him from begging for more C ranks for a bit. But I guess the kid's not gonna stop until he gets that bottle open. And now, it's getting a little ridiculous. Naruto. Three young faces turned to the Jonin. One of them bent over on his back, holding the bottle with their feet and hands, and yanking at the cork with his teeth. Waha ish ich Kakashi Zensei. The boy answered with his jaws still around the cork. Why don't you make a couple of shadow clones to help you with that? 1 moment passed. Ah! Why didn't I think of that? Naruto cried, jumping to his feet. Peefed pfftt peefed, that thing was getting dirt in my mouth. Why not use clones to get it open? The audience sweat dropped, while a few spare Naruto appeared and began yanking together on the bottle. Gur, come on Gur Al, most. Plukink. FWWW00000MMMMMMMM. A rapid column of purple smoke poured out from the open jar. 1. The smoke began to compress, forming a tight orb until ta daawwww. Once again free at last. A portly figure smoothly burst from the smoke. The man wore a black vest and a pink long-sleeved Chongshan shirt. His face was round, with a tiny black goatee, sideburns, and a thin swirly mustache. A cheery smile and light, red-tinted sunglasses covered his face. The figure's arms gestured about, as he continued to loudly express his apparent gratitude. It's been 1,000 years. The world I'm Suori is waiting. Guess my identity. You have one try. Not one. All right, I'll tell you. I am the famous genie of the bottle. The 4 onlookers watched the new arrival. I am prepared to grant you 3 wishes. You may wish for anything you want. Ow! Hot 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 hot. Naruto, I told you to wait. Why can't you listen to anything? I said that you'd burn your tongue. The genin were gathered near the campfire, ignoring the strange being, while Kakashi lazed about but kept a sharp eye on him. He doesn't have any legs. Just a misshaped ribbon connected to the bottle. Could he really be? Don't you listen when somebody is talking to you? Stop asking. Genies aren't real, so stop pretending to be one. You're too loud and annoying, Naruto said. Guang, you're not really one to talk. Naruto. If someone's more annoying than Naruto, I won't be able to stand them. You shouldn't really say anything. While another voice in the last person's head was shouting, you're the most annoying person there is. Stop being a hypocrite, Shanaru. Sasuke looked at Naruto. Just don't look at him, he is a little suspicious. The apparent genie moved forward. I'm not suspicious. Take one look at me. I'm a genie, for real. Don't be ridiculous. Sakura frowned at Naruto. What are you doing? Stop talking to this guy and he'll go away. I am a genie. For real. And genies don't lie. Kakashi spoke up. I'm not so sure about that. There are a lot of stories. Some that warn people about trusting genies to give honest wishes. Or of the genie in question bending a person's wish to be more of a curse than a blessing. How can you prove to be an actual genie and not a charlatan? Well, just ask for a wish, and I'll show you. Oh yeah. Naruto cried out. Well, if you're a genie, then make me the Naruto. Kakashi spoke with authority, softly placing a hand on the boy's mouth. Just in case, it wouldn't be good to risk it. Don't be in such a rush. HHMMMMMMM. The Jonin deliberated for a moment, to find a wish that would be useful, but also the least impactful on other people. Excuse me? If you are a genie, then could I have a complete set of the Golden Edition Icha ICHA series, with the next book that will be released? With a smile in his eye. I shall grant your wish. The strange being crossed his arms and spoke a pair of words. Abracadabra. Pop. Kakashi's single eye went wide. There. Before him. Neatly packaged. Hard copies. It can't. No, no way. Aha. He lifted the headband, to check with his Sharingan that no illusions were present. A pile of the complete Golden Edition series of Icha Icha was there on the ground, with a green-covered one on top, that he had never seen before. No, that can't be. Is it really? The man squealed with excitement. Ta-da! A complete set of Make-Out series authored by Jiraiya the Toad Sage. With the next installment, which will not come out for another 3 years. Icha Icha Tactics. Kakashi was trembling, excitement running through his body. Wait. 3 years. I got the next book that far in advance. So you really are a genie? A hyperactive knucklehead declared, with stars dancing in his eyes. You're amazing. Sakura cried, running up to the genie and locking her arms around his neck. That was the coolest thing I ever saw. Hey. 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 If you're a genie, then I need this wish. I wish to become powerful enough to mumph. Sasuke's hand clamped over Naruto's mouth. Don't waste it. I need to talk to this guy. And have a wish far more important than yours, he casually spoke. The boy's voice was quiet, even as his left hand trembled. His mind drifting back to the night his life was shattered, and someone challenged him to grow strong enough to kill them if he ever could. Gake. No way. You don't have anything that you need. I'm the one who needs this wish the most, Sasuke. Naruto was glaring at the other boy. Even as the Uchiha ignored him, focusing only on the possibility of gaining the power he desired to destroy a certain someone, he had made his ambition to fulfill. Now, let's get down to business. The proven genie gently yanked Sakura off of himself, dropping her between Naruto and Sasuke, while Kakashi was cradling his new book Icha Icha Tactics, with reverence. You only have 2 wishes left. Quickly, the genin knelt close together and began debating over the next wish. Quite surprising given their rocky start and constant bickering. But after the tribulations and danger they had in the Land of Waves, the trio could accept each other's input and opinions far better than before the mission. Eventually, the genie grew tired as the pre-teens were talking together. So, he turned his attention back to Jonin. Excuse me. Do you want another wish? Or would you please talk to the brats trying to make up their minds? Kakashi looked up from his silent celebration. Would you please step back for a second, Mr. Genie? We need a minute to decide, and sensei doesn't count, since he already had a wish. Sakura established. Certainly. Young masters. Take all the time you need. Now you have only 1 wish left. WHAAATT. Hey! All the kids shouted in surprise. Wait. How can that count? You didn't say anything before, and nobody made a wish. Because, young mistress. That is one of the rules, the genie replied to Sakura. What rules? These right here. They're written clearly on the bottom of the bottle. Said bottle was raised into the air and extended to the trio to read. Please read the 3rd paragraph of the genie instructions. What paragraph? The bottom's covered in mud. Oh my, that would be a problem. The genie nodded, quickly whipping the dried mud caked onto the bottom of his residence. Oh. I see, Sakura whispered, reading the instructions about any declined offers from the genie, after wish number 1 had been fulfilled. Well, it's certainly a pity that we didn't stop somewhere to wash it. Otherwise, Naruto might have seen those a lot sooner. Kakashi mused as he was now standing beside his students, with the new complete Icha ICHA set held tightly in his left arm. Good. Now that we're on the same page, what is your final wish? I'm taking it. Sasuke stepped forward. Hey, that's not fair. You can't keep something like this for yourself, Naruto shouted, pointing his figure into Sasuke's face. You'll just use it to wish to be Hokage or waste the last wish on ramen. Kakashi-sensei already used the first one, and Sakura blew the second by throwing it away. Nobody that useless should get to use something this important. That accusation had some different reactions. Sakura melted into depression, as her crush called her useless, and was correct about her wasting a wish. Kakashi didn't make any noticeable movement, but his mind suddenly became very concerned over what Sasuke would wish for. While Naruto's hands clenched to his sides. If I made that wish right now, I could become the Hokage, sure. But I could also wish for everyone in the village to finally start treating me like a person, not a germ that they want to disappear. And Sasuke just insulted Sakura-chan. Genie, Sasuke spoke to the eccentric spirit. I wish for the power to kill. No. I need this wish a lot more badly than you. Naruto's hand grabbed Sasuke by his collar, yanking the boy forward and down to the ground. You have no idea what my life is like back in the village. I'm the one who needs this wish the most. Naruto spat into Uchiha's face, with tears forming in the corners of his eyes. The boy's memory traveled back. Back to the glares. The neglect. The long, lonely nights curled on his bed, depressed and confused. The whispers. Look. It's that kid. Why did they let that boy stay in the village, those two grown-ups on the street? Just return to your seat, Iruka-sensei, on my first day in his class. Hey you little brat. Get out of here. I don't want you here. You're nothing but a pest. The shopkeeper. I was just looking at a mask. I wasn't doing anything, and he hit me. There. You see him? It's that boy. He's the only one who failed. HMPH. Well, it serves him right. Just imagine it if he became a ninja. I mean he's those ladies by the academy. After my third try to graduate. I've gotta use this wish to no, in single second. Naruto was thrown over, and pinned to the ground. Looking up he cried out, until meeting Sasuke's eyes. Sasuke, Naruto recoiled, in fear. That look in his eyes. It's like that day at the academy. They're like the same everyone gives me. But a lot stronger than those. His eyes, that hatred, it's not for me. But it's still, there. Suddenly, Sasuke was lifted off of Naruto. Alright. That's enough you two, Kakashi spoke, raising both boys back to their feet. HHHHH. Now listen. I know you both have some deep ambitions, but ask yourselves, do you really want this? A pair of confused eyes turned to the gray-haired ninja. Do you really want someone to just give you what you want so easily? Do you want to feel true accomplishment and satisfaction from the ambitions both of you carry? Because if you do, this isn't the way to do it. Kakashi's eyes, as his Sharingan was still uncovered, met both Naruto's and Sasuke's. I normally don't like to be this hands-on. But if they just get everything that they want so easily, it'll cause a lot of trouble in the village. Naruto doesn't have enough maturity or understanding about the Hokage's position to just wish to become him so casually. While if Sasuke just wishes for Itachi to die, he might become aimless and undedicated at best. Or carry that anger all the more heavily by following a path of revenge right out of the gate. If you ask this genie those questions, then the truth is, he'll be the one who made you Hokage, Naruto. Or killed the man you want to avenge yourself on so badly, Sasuke. He will have done it, not the pair of you, and hold the true credit. Naruto and Sasuke, neither of them moved. Both looked down, confused and reflective. Kakashi continued. If you truly care about your dreams, your ambitions and aspirations, then the best way to do that is by fulfilling them yourselves. Growing through missions, training, and facing real struggles along the way, until you accomplish your desires in your unique way. That is what a true ninja does. It's how the fourth Hokage gained his title, and the best of the Uchiha rose to greatness. By creating success for themselves instead of just looking for easy wins or letting someone else do the work for them. That hit the spot. Naruto and Sasuke both started to question asking the genie to fulfill their goals for them. But Kakashi Hatake made a fatal mistake. The best way to reach the goals you set for yourselves is to train hard and face serious challenges along the way. And you might accomplish more than you originally intended to. Like the mission we just completed, the help we gave to those people, and the growth each of you made during that adventure. Yeah, but that won't happen, sensei, Naruto shouted. You were just saying a while ago that we won't be having any C-rank missions for a long time. We can't grow if there's no danger for us to beat up, and D-rank missions don't have any adventure. Wait, that's it. Naruto shrugged out of his jacket and rushed over to the genie. Hey, genie. I wish for all of us to go somewhere with dangerous missions, strong enemies, and big adventures all the time. Oh, and people in trouble so we can help them along the way. Take us somewhere that will let all of us get strong. Well, if adventure and danger are what you want, then I know the best place to go. Wait, wait. Kakashi shouted. The genie began to spin. Smoke billowed from his arms, to encompass the campsite, taking everyone and everything there with him. Your wish is my command. Quickly, the four ninjas were lifted from the ground, consumed by the vortex emerging from the genie. What? Naruto. What did you do? Huh. Stop. We didn't agree on this. Ha. Wahoo. All of the leaf ninjas were surrounded, and the purple smoke began to change. Now it brought the group of four into the air. Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura and Naruto each felt as though a vacuum was drawing them in. Loud, confusing screams were made from the smoke around them. Until a single clear voice broke through. Abracadabra, in a single instant. A series of choices made by pure chance altered the course of two different dimensions. As Team 7 disappeared, leaving no trace behind of them. 4 minutes passed. Everything was unchanged. Birds flew from above. A family of rabbits peeked out from their hole. The wind began to rise, forming a gentle breeze through the stoic trees. Another minute, in the same spot. Here, we are. A deep, thundering roar echoed in the clearing. Smoke, the shade of sulfur, began to form. Coming out from the spaces between the wind. A number of billowing tendrils of smoke reached out, stretching forward. Upon contact with the ground, they began to churn. Until the figures of humans could be made out. They were the size of adults. One carried a pair of swords. Another shouldered an odd, serpentine bow. Large scrolls were carried by all of them, near the small of their backs. After a handful of seconds, their bodies were clear through the yellow haze, which began to recede. Looking around, one individual gazed about. Old memories stirring in their mind. An odd sense of loss, nostalgia, wistfulness, and more. A well of regret and concern, was filled with relief. So. We're finally home. I guess that wish on the bottle really was a good idea. But not all of us could return. All of those people. Those adventures. A female voice answered her lover. Those memories definitely won't leave us anytime soon, my love. Just like we never left each other, when things were at their most bleak and dangerous. Another woman spoke up. I agree. I'm actually eager to see home different the Leaf Village as compared to my old home. Then let's not waste time, the oldest figure stated. It is time to return to the lead village. Time for us to return home, and show Lord Hokage the growth we have made, across all these years, and through the chaos the Grand Line. To the past. Genin aged 12, Kakashi aged 36, Team 7 were tumbling through shapelessness. Nothing within their touch could be grasped. Yet the colors, sights and sounds surrounding them were chaos personified. Their bodies were drawn onward. None of the four had any sense of a space, only a thrilling velocity forcing them towards a single destination was clear to their senses. It all lasted a few moments. We're here. The genie's voice pierced their minds. Various shouts came, some desperate and others confused. Where is here? What is going on? Soon, Hatake Kakashi, Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, and Uzumaki Naruto felt solid ground beneath their feet. The eldest ninja steadied himself, while the others dropped to their knees. Gradually, the blanket of purple smoke unfurled from their bodies. New sensations reached them. Warm sunlight, soft grass between their open-toed shoes, and moisture hanging from the air. Once their faces were uncovered, bright sunlight filled their vision, blinding them in its radiance. A salty scent touched their noses. Crashing waves echoed behind them. Overlaid with scents of fire, explosions, and the distant sounds of violence. Sakura and Sasuke were dazed, too bewildered to grasp their placement. While Naruto and Kakashi recovered quicker, opening their eyes to a beautiful clearing. Dense forests were in the distance, while a blend of flowers and grass surrounded them. The sky was cloudless, and the warmest sun they had ever felt comforted the visitors. Here we are. Everyone whirled around, to find the genie behind them. I have granted your wish. This world will certainly allow you to find the adventures, dangers, and people to fulfill the wish you have made. I even have a brother here, who can grant wishes as well. Finding him might be tough. But you'll definitely be able to have more wishes from him, and get back to where we were through one of them. Each of the ninjas were baffled. Here? Where exactly is here? Where have you brought us? Kakashi demanded. his voice deep, serious, commanding. Bye-bye. Hey wait. What has Naruto's wish done? Where is the Leaf Village? Sakura screamed. Be-hoo. Je-hoo. Be-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. The genie simply laughed, his arms flailing about while the bottle began to suck him inside.
Still tickles. As the last wisps entered their confines, the bottle began to glow. Strange lights resonating along the edges, as it began rising up to hover in the air. Moving higher and higher, a growing star ascending to the heavens. I hope you all have fun here. Let's meet again. In your own home. In another 1,000 years.
With a final twinkle, the jar was gone, leaving the ninjas behind. For a long while, 4 pairs of eyes were trained on the sky, watching for a glimpse of their strange acquaintance. Eventually, Kakashi glanced around, taking in their surroundings, while Naruto moved to help Sakura to her feet. After accepting his help, the pinkette promptly shoved Naruto to the ground, rushing over to her beloved Sasuke, to see if he had been hurt or dazed, completely uncaring for the blonde boy. Naruto brushed it off, and began to glance around, with innocent confusion, oblivious to the predicament his wish had placed Team 7 into. Help. Help me, please. Get back here, you piece of shit. Turning their heads, Team 7 witnessed a younger man, dressed into scorched tatters, stained with blood, stumbling towards them. Behind the man were a pair of armed thugs, wearing plain bandanas, open vests, dirty pants, and swords. What kind of sword are those? Kakashi thought. The hilts and blades are connected by a strange metal cup, covering their hands. One of them is raised overhead and showing a line of metal between the cup and pommel. 1. Please, save me from these pirates. Hang on, I'm coming to save you. Naruto, wait. But the blonde was already rushing off. Kakashi sighed, why doesn't he follow orders, no matter what is going on? Naruto, you baka, stop. Sensei said to, enough Sakura. The girl froze. Kakashi's voice carried a hard edge, the same he had during their confrontations with Zabuza. In fact, if we save that man, he might tell us where we are right now. Come on. Faster than a blink, Kakashi was moving forward, to catch up with his orange-colored student. Naruto ran ahead, causing the brutes in his vision to pause in surprise. Naruto smirked, leaping into the air for a kick, only to see a sword homing in towards him. Gah! The weapon pierced his chest, while the grunt holding it smirked. Just another useless kid trying to play hero and got himself killed. Then in a flash, the body impaled by a sword was replaced with a log. Ha! Gah! The man was surprised, as his body pitched forward, weighed down by the heavy log his sword was planted in. Hey! Glancing up, the man saw another child, with black hair and dressed in a navy shirt and white shorts, twirling in their air. Fly straight at him. The movement built up momentum, driving the boy's foot straight into the grunt's head. Idiot heard my voice and glanced up, giving me the perfect target. Sasuke smirked with satisfaction. The kick launching the man onto his back. As he landed, the Uchiha looked back in surprise. Gah! Little shit. The grunt brushed off his face, drawing a knife from his belt and scrambling towards Sasuke. Hey! Came Naruto's voice. Super shuriken toss. The genin threw out 2 handfuls of shuriken. Complete off target. Ah! Naruto! Sakura cried, narrowly evading several of them. While the bandit stopped in confusion. Sasuke took the chance, sweeping the man's feet out from under him and tied down with a series of ninja wire. Hey! No fair! Naruto dashed up to Sasuke, shouting all the while. Sasuke, you selfish bastard! That guy was mine. Why did you steal my action? Quit trying to make yourself look all cool, it sucks. Hey! The Uchiha scoffed. The only thing that sucks here is you. Not one of those shuriken touched him, and you passed up the opportunity. I don't need to try anything. You're just terrible. Grr. I'll show you. Enough. They boys froze in place. While Sakura did the same, her charge to take payback on Naruto's terrible shuriken throw stopped in its tracks. Kakashi stood behind them, his prisoner already bound and weaponless. Naruto. You are far too slow to react, and Sasuke took the openings that came. Sasuke, well done. But your rivalry isn't important right here. With a few steps, Kakashi grabbed the other brigand and moved to a nearby tree. Now. I have some questions for the pair of, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. More shouts of gratitude filled the air. The young man in grimy cloths knelt towards the shinobi, bowing his head all the while. Until a loud shriek filled the air. Oh no! The village! Please, help my village! There's a crew of pirates running wild there. They're looting and kidnapping everyone in sight. There are just too many, and the Marines aren't here to help us. Please. You need help. I'll help you save them. Naruto nearly ran off again. Nearly. Sasuke tripped his teammate as the boy ran by, and soon bound him with ninja wire. Slow down for a second, loser. Stop running off the play hero all the time. Gah, come on. We need to help these people. They're getting attacked by pirates right now.
Kakashi groaned in resignation. Naruto, stop rushing off in such a hurry. We need to know about who this man is. And whether we can or should do anything. Turning towards the pirates, the air around the group began to drop, growing colder and bleak. The pirates shivered, their bravado overwhelmed with a single emotion: fear.
The Jonin glowered down at the pair, his killer intent driving them shitless. Now, I have some questions. Which the pair of you will answer? Under Kakashi's watchful eye, the pirates confessed to all his questions. Their crew numbered 60 men, nobody with a significant bounty, and were directed by a Captain Sendu, a rookie pirate looking to become a big shot. Kakashi was confused by certain words that the pirates used, such as weapons called cannons or rifles, but pushed the topics aside and ordered the genin to do the same. Once the interrogation was done, the Jonin turned towards the villager and weighed his options. Getting involved with these pirates could be dangerous. Yet, I still have no idea where we are. This isn't a mission, nor is there anyone in this village that are particular towards the four of us. Yet leaving these people to fend for themselves doesn't feel right. Charging in could come back to haunt us if this Sendu has any connections. But, helping this village could mean shelter, food and some information from the people for a few days. Enough to learn about where we are. That settles it. Excuse me, Kakashi addressed the kneeling villager. My name is Kakashi Hataki, can you share yours? Minoru. My name is Minoru. Please hell. It's all right, Minoru. The man replied, raising a hand for silence. We will help your village. The man's face broke out in relief. While Naruto yelled in excitement, and began shouting at Sasuke to untie him. Kakashi continued to speak, please, tell us where the village is, and draw a small map of the layout here in the ground. Along with the location of the pirate's ship. I have a plan to stop them and get your people to safety. But I need some information to ensure that we will have success. Gradually, Minoru told the Jonin all that he needed to know. Next, Kakashi called his genin over and began to share his plan with them. Sasuke and Naruto protested at the suggestion that they will be paired up. But Kakashi pointed out how they would handle most of the fighting. With a reminder of their success against the remaining bandits in Tezuna's home village during the aftermath of Gato's downfall. 2. Sakura agreed to accompany Kakashi. Then, leaving the neutralized pirates knocked out, the lead shinobi moved out towards the village. 0.0 Within Hama village, the Swirlfan, pirates were tearing homes apart, grabbing women from their children, and pushing back the few men still standing to fight. Captain Sendu watched in grim pleasure as his crew were at work. Hey! There won't be much, but you gotta start small before going after the tougher targets. This village will have some valuables, and plenty of worthless lives to sell off to the auctioning houses. I'll get some extra money, and more men from this success, then move on to some better targets. Soon a pair of crewmen approached their captain, carrying a large chest. While a third of the crew were dragging people in shackles on board to sell off. One pirate was chasing after a mother and her child, moving out of the village for the treeline. Yet the brigand was gaining on them with each step. Reach out to seize the young woman. With a loud shout, an orange swarm engulfed the man and left him beaten and dazed. Simultaneously, another boy ushered the women to the trees and was joined by his partner. It's all right. Just stay hidden, and we'll help your village. Naruto. Create a couple of clones to keep her safe from any pirates who come this way. Right. Leaving the pair of civilians with a few guards, the boys went back to the pirate, and dragged him up to the rooftops. Meanwhile, a grown man with gray hair and preteen pinkette snuck around the hull of a brigantine ship. 4. Crawling on the vertical surface with their chakra control, the pair were on the side opposite to the wharf. To lessen the chances of being spotted, the pair moved around slowly, with the older one counting the different footfalls on the decks or peering into the hull. They saw the group of captives and captors moving about on the decks, and waited. Now, we just need Sasuke and Naruto to get their attention. A handful of minutes later, a familiar shout came to Kakashi's ears, followed by a scuffle from the village square. Fire style. Great fireball jutsu. What? CCC Captain. That kid just. I know, I saw it. Must be devil fruit powers. Come on men. Charge the brat all at once and pin him down. Someone with his powers will be worth a lot as a slave. With a roar of excitement, feet clattered about the deck, before silence grew on board. Kakashi nodded with approval. Sasuke and Naruto always do get people's attention. Now Sakura and I can free the slaves, force the rest of the pirates to run back here, straight towards me. Oh. Sakura, stay here. The man whispered to his genin, noticing she was about to leave and could guess why. But sensei, they're talking about giving Sasuke-kun into slavery. I have to help and protect him. That won't happen. Sasuke and Naruto know their jobs and are fulfilling them. Now, we have to do our jobs, and free these people. Remember, you stay with the people and I'll take the pirates when they come back. Alright? But Sasuke has Naruto with him. They can watch each other's backs in a fight, just like they did against Zabuza and Haku. You know that. No, focus on this job, not on him. Understood. It wasn't a question, but a command. With a sigh of resignation, Sakura nodded. Then the pair slipped aboard and got to work. Back in the village, Naruto and Sasuke stood before the crowd of charging pirates. Several others were scattered about, sporting different bruises and burns. While most of the people were behind the genin and scared to see a pair of 12-year-olds standing up to the pirates. The Uzumaki and Uchiha grinned. Caught up in the thrill of the one place the pair would cooperate together, battle. Naruto. These are a lot more than those thugs in Land of Waves. Split them up and attack from different angles, and watch out. Got it. Let's go. Naruto brought his hands together, crossing his hands to perform a signature technique. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. Columns of smoke erupted, giving the pirates pause. Once it cleared, many stepped back in awe. The villagers were equally surprised. 200 copies of a single boy filled the village. Most of them forming a buffer between the pirate crew and the villagers, with the rest scattered across multiple streets and rooftops. All of clones taunting the pirates. You think you can outnumber me, do ya? You're outdone 4-1. Just sit down and surrender. There's no ways you can win. Captain Sendu growled in frustration. These two might be a problem. Let's go. Each of the Narutos charge at the crew, with kunai drawn and eager to win. The pirates recovered and began to fight back. Many of the Narutos were hit, but some landed several hits of their own. Yet the grown men could shrug them off, with some effort. The captain had drawn an extra sword, cutting down several with each move. Still, the action kept them distracted. A situation compounded by the smoke given off by every felled clone. Hiding the other ninja. Demon Wind Shuriken. A large, spinning blade cut through the smokescreen, felling several pirates at once. Sasuke peered down, Sharingan ready and focused. The Uchiha traced both the shuriken and the pirates, throwing smaller stars and kunai at the right opportunities, disarming or crippling more and more of the pirates. Eventually the Fuma shuriken split, cutting down more of the enemy before Sasuke caught them effortlessly. Naruto was also at work, dropping smoke bombs and additional clones to keep the pirates occupied, while some extras led any civilians nearby to a safer distance. Between the pair, 50 pirates were cut down to 35 within minutes. Captain Sendu growled, shouting for the brats to face him in a clear field, like true men. The genin only laughed, hidden by the smoke and aggravating the captain more. Fine then. Dropping his swords, the temperamental man reached for his pistols. Drawing several and firing off randomly. Uncaring about who was hit but his shots, whether it was the people or his crew. I'll always replace them with mountain bandits or lowlifes from other towns and cities anywhere. They're expendable, and these brats are making a mockery out of me. Sasuke's eyes grew wide. His Sharingan picked up the tiny projectiles fly from the smoke, until one moved towards him. Shifting slightly, the precognition of his eyes barely gave enough time to avoid the shot. Dropping to the ground, he saw similar projectiles tearing through the wooden houses. The boy's mind was blank, shocked and confused over what weapon could do such a thing. Naruto wasn't any better. At the sound of the pistols, his curiosity got the better of him. Peeping around a house, one bullet passed through a narrow beam, sending a shower splinters over his face. Og! Og! Naruto shouted in agony. His hand flew up, rubbing over his face. The boy wanted to get rid of the sharp feeling cutting inward, but his hands only forced the splinters deeper into his skin. Naruto! Sasuke shouted at the screams. Slipping through the houses, he soon found his teammate, lying on the ground and calling out, Sasuke! Get them off! Get them off! Get them off me! Sasuke moved to see what injured Naruto, but his eyes caught another danger. Dashing around the orange ninja, Sasuke drew a kunai, as most of the pirates came into view. Following the screams where Naruto had landed. Hey! You're finished, boys! Captain Sandu swore through gritting teeth. He was focused and angry, eager to make the boys suffer for humiliating his crew. Excuse me. A new voice called out, form the ship. Everyone turned to spot a tall figure on the deck, amidst a pile of men, beaten unconscious. My ship! My men! Where are my you bastard? Now Captain Sendu was angry. And his crew knew this was the worst. Once he became angry, Sendu's habits would become cantankerous and aggressive. The man tore a sword from his closest men, having spent all of his ammunition, and charged towards the ship. While his men remained frozen by fear, spotting the red-colored eye of the new arrival. Kakashi frowned, taking in the situation. Sasuke! Get Naruto back! Then the Jonin entered the fight. New discoveries. Dusk settled over Hama village. The people were preparing a feast, to celebrate their salvation and thank the saviors who made it possible. With the civilians on the ship freed and the rest of the crew gathered together with their captain, Kakashi had needed only 20 seconds to tear the pirates apart. Once it was done, Minoru had come forward, and rallied the civilians together in thanks. Soon after, most of the pirates were bound together aboard smaller boats and sent out to sea, adrift. With so few grown men in the village, Kakashi pragmatically decided it was the best choice rather than try to guard 60 violent pirates through the night. While Sendu remained in the village, bound with his own chains and knocked out by Kakashi to prevent any trouble from the pirate captain. Now, Team 7 had gathered in the headman's house. Naruto's face had some bandages where the splinters had to be removed. Kakashi held a pistol in his hands, with each of the shinobi admiring it. So, a small amount of explosive powder is placed in the tube, followed by a tiny metal ball, and all of it pressed together. Then the arm is set back, and the weapon can be pointed at a target. By twitching the small device with one's forefinger, the arm ignites the flit, setting the powder on fire, and propelling the metal ball outwards. That is right. Save Chem Mr. Kakashi. The headman, Tarm, nodded from his bed. The man had been one of the first to try and fight the pirates, but was shot in his leg and made the first prisoner. Once the prisoners were freed, he was taken to the local doctor along with the others to be healed. Despite the injuries, Tarm insisted on giving the ninjas all the help that he could. Though he continuously called each of them saviors. Something that didn't feel too comfortable for Kakashi, who insisted on using his given name. The genin looked over the pistol in wonder, while Kakashi drew a small scroll from his vest pocket. Opening the scroll, he placed the pistol in the center. With a single hand sign it disappeared into smoke, sealed inside. This would be invaluable for the village to use, and give any shinobi quite the surprise. I'll show it to Lord Hokage once. So you have one too, a devil fruit power, Tarm exclaimed. Sorry, Tarm, Kakashi scratched the back of his head. A witch power. The headman frowned, confused. Devil fruit power. Strange abilities that someone can gain by eating a devil fruit. That's the only explanation for you or the boys to have powers like breathing fire or making copies of himself. It's quite rare to find any here in the East Blue, or outside of the Grand Line. How did the four of you end up here? Kakashi didn't answer. A small, sinking, worrisome feeling began to grow in his stomach. Grand Line. What is that? Naruto cried in curiosity. I guess you've just never seen ninjas before. Oh, and we came from the Hidden Leaf Village, not some big blue place. Why did you ask that? The Hidden Leaf Village? Tarm raised an eyebrow. Are you feeling all right, son? There's no such place like that on Gia Island at all. And how come you don't know about the East Blue when you live in it? East Blue? Sakura joined the conversation. Her eyes narrowed, apprehensively. And what do you mean by Gia Island? Isn't this place still part of the Land of Fire? Like Naruto said, where ninjas form the Hidden Leaf Village. Don't you know that place? Tarm's eyes widened. Rapidly, they were passing between both the blonde and pinkette, as if each needed their head examined or had grown extra limbs. Tarm, Kakashi, voice cut through them. His posture was rigid, anxious, even fearful over the question on his mind. Please, can you show us a map of the world? Or a map of various islands, here in the East Blue? Of course Mr. Kakashi. Give me a moment. Slowly, the man limped over to his cabinets, while Kakashi called for the attention of his genin. Sakura, Naruto, Sasuke. I need each of you to remain calm. If you feel like you need to leave this hut, you may. But go outside of the village to the trees and let out your emotions. No matter what we learn. Sakura began to tremble. Even Sasuke grew anxious at his sensei's tone. Kakashi's sensei. Why? What is going on? His eye narrowed, sharply. I think that we aren't in the Land of Fire anymore. Or even on the same continent at all. That genie may have brought us to the other side of the world. Or somewhere else away from the elemental nations. Kakashi couldn't imagine the truth. Here you are. Stepping forward, Tarm carried a group of paper scrolls. Setting each down on the floor, the man spread one open, revealing the map of a large sea with various scattered islands dotting the vast blue expanses. This is where we are, Gia Island, the headman explained, pointing to it on the map. There are several other islands across the East Blue, that vary in size. Like Dawn Island in Goa Kingdom, Mirrorball Island, Clockwork Island, and Sixus Island. Along with archipelagos like the Organ Islands, the Gecko Islands, and Konami Islands. Do any of these places look like your home island? Or any of those on the other blues like the North Blue, or the West Blue? The ninja began to comb over the maps. Yet, it was a fruitless effort. None of them found anything that resembled the elemental nations. Kakashi, the most experienced and mature of the group, felt the gravity of their situation the hardest. Could that genie have sent us to a different world? None of these islands or continents resemble the elemental nations at all. Plus, the weapons like the pistol, or cannon on board the ship. The ship, the Jonin quietly exclaimed. Sensei, Naruto spoke up in a timid voice. What is it about the ship? Glancing around, Kakashi noticed the worried faces on each of his genin. Taking a moment, calling on experience, the ninja pushed his own emotions to the side, and marshaled his thoughts. Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, Tarm. My concerns about the ship are just about everything about it. The body of the ship is larger than anything I've seen before, but still capable of floating very high in shallow water. It also has additional poles with the sails attached, and they are organizing triangularly. That is much different than most other ships in our home. Even the weapons on board like pistols and cannons. None of it is anything like what we have in our home, the elemental nations. What's more, the Jonin continued, glancing at the maps. None of the locations on these maps resemble the elemental nations at all. The islands themselves are too small, according to the scale. And I've never heard of any places like Goa Kingdom or Illusia Kingdom. Really, sensei? Naruto cut into the man's observations. Well, does that mean that the genie granted my wish? He did say we'd go to a different part of the world and have some great adventures, or help people along the way, right? Oh, so we're stuck on the other side of the world because of your stupid wish, Naruto. Sakura shouted, palming her fist. Oh, you just had to go and plant us all the way over here, loser. Sasuke, in a rare moment of camaraderie, agreed with Sakura. While his genin began to fight, Kakashi was frozen stiff. Naruto's wish sent a pang through his memory. This world will certainly allow you to find the adventures, dangers, and people to fulfill the wish you have made. That was what the genie said. This world. I even have a brother here, who can grant wishes as well. Finding him might be tough. Naruto. Sasuke. Sakura. Stop immediately. The former was pinned down by Sasuke, while Sakura approached with her fist cocked back. Rare as it was, the commanding tone from their sensei cut through each as a powerful axe through a twig. Naruto. Come here and sit beside me. Sakura, Sasuke, stay there. Once the orange knucklehead joined his sensei, Kakashi took a deep breath. That genie. Before he disappeared, he stated that we would find great adventures and grow strong in this world. In this world. It appears that I was wrong. We may not have traveled to a different part of the world, after all. We may have traveled to a complete different dimension. It is, the Jonin needed a deep breath to stead his growing anxiety. It may be possible that there isn't any Leaf Village here at all. Or any other ninjas who can help us. That hit all of the genin like a 5-ton sack of bricks. Sasuke grew pale, his shock written over his face. While Sakura's hands flew to her mouth, her trembling legs giving out beneath her. Naruto took more time to grasp those words. As they sunk in, a deep hole in his gut grew larger and larger, while new thoughts flew in his head. A different world. I didn't want this at all. Just more adventures and danger. Now there's no Leaf Village here. But that would mean I can't become the Hokage at all. It means no Ichiraku ramen, the only place that I feel happy at. It means Iruka-sensei, and GG. Naruto's mind grew bleak. The one, constant source of comfort across his lonesome, terrible life was gone. I can't see GJII, the Hokage anymore. Naruto. What have you done? Sakura hollered, charging at the dazed, lonesome child. Sakura. Kakashi's hand extended, hold back the girl. Casting fault or blame here will accomplish nothing. Do not. Sensei. Tears streaking down her cheeks, accenting the pinkette's words. His street. Stupid wish has us tuck here. The genie already disappeared. Now we can't see our families at all. And hua. Anything we wanted to do. It's gone all in a completely different place. And we have no way to go back. It's all Naruto's fault. She was deeply terrified, to the point of ignorance. Her minds were dominated by selfishness, the desire to vent that confusion on someone. Just let me hit him, sensei. Naru, FLLL thought. In a flash, Sakura's charging figure was pinned to the floor. The girl was shocked at her position, bewildered. Sakura. Kakashi's voice spoke up. The Jonin had a firm hold on her, his foot pressing down harder over her head. Some could also say that you wasting one wish also resulted in this. Since it could have been used to give us a way back. Or, you should blame me for giving Naruto an idea to wish for a place with adventure. I will not allow you to hurt him like that. For now, we need to stay together, and decide of where to go or what we do next. Keeping a firm hold on the girl, the Jonin glanced at Sasuke and Naruto. Both were deeply shaken. GJII, Naruto whispered. The Jonin sensei narrowed his eye. That's right. The man he looked up to and always was there for him. And the position that he aspires so hard to reach. Now it's gone. And Sasuke. Sure enough, the last Uchiha looked deeply troubled, even lost. Kakashi's resignation echoed throughout the room. He began to address the genin again when. Pardon me? Tarm spoke up. While Kakashi and Sakura met his eyes, the two boys barely moved. That might not be the case. It might be that your home island is on the Grand Line. Reaching for another map, the man spread it open before the ninjas. This is far from accurate. But it does show another sea that lines in between all of the blues. The Grand Line. Between two bands of sea called the Calm Belt, this ocean is known to have many different islands that are unique and wondrous. Some of them are also cut off from the rest of the world, like the country of Wano. It might be possible that your home is somewhere on that ocean, but if that is true. The man grew silent, ignorant of the faint hope he left dangling before the ninja. Please. A single word, filled with desperation, slipped from the Jonin. Continue, Mr. Tarm. Please. Oh. Well. I used to serve in the Navy, a while back. There, I met some junior officers named Rapa Nui, Isoka and Pakao. They told me about the crazy stories about that place, so I began to learn about it to try and prove them wrong. I even went to that sea with a crew, and barely came out alive. I'll start at the beginning for the kids. You can see on the maps that this world is separated by a single large continent. The Red Line. The Grand Line traverses it perpendicularly. separating the oceans into the North Blue, South Blue, East Blue, and West Blue. The Grand Line though is the home of the devil himself. That sea can only promise one thing alone. And that is death. The place is worse than other people think or speak of. The weather conditions are entirely unpredictable, and defy any sense or reason. Terrible sea monsters large enough to swallow a ship or a village whole dwell there. A single wrong choice can end the life of an entire crew. And if the elements don't kill you, the people who sail it will. The place is actually called the Pirate Graveyard. From the sheer scale of crews that have been killed in that sea. Likely millions across hundreds of years. Traveling there can be near suicidal. The ninjas grew quiet again, as Tarm finished his story. Why do so many people go there, if it's such a deadly place? Kakashi inquired. Tarm took a deep breath. Because of the One Piece. The greatest treasure in the world. Treasure? What kind of treasure? What? Naruto shouted. Unconsciously clinging to the distraction, from within his lost mind. 22 years ago, now. There was one man who did the impossible. A pirate, who led his crew on a voyage to conquer the entire Grand Line. A man who was so strong, so powerful, land so dangerous, he bent all of the seas to his will. And defeated every opponent he found along the way. To the point that he earned a title nobody ever carried before. The King of the Pirates. Gold Roger. Gold Roger himself was from the East Blue. He achieved more wealth, fame and power than anyone else did. He defeated every fellow pirate he encountered, and the most anyone could hope was to match him. The Marines finally managed to defeat and capture him and sentence the man to death. But before his capture, Gold Roger took everything that was worth taking from the world. And hid it away. An enormously vast treasure. The legendary One Piece. Whomever finds that treasure will be acknowledged as the next king of the pirates. Thousands of pirates' crews have traveled to the Grand Line to find the One Piece. Fighting each other, the Marines, and the elements all the way. To the point that the Grand Line is a constant battlefield. Sometimes I'm amazed that Zeph even survived for years in that hell. The genin were left gaping at the story. Even in their bleak setting, stories of pirates, treasure and adventure brought a glint of excitement to their young minds. While Kakashi was more observant. I apologize, Tarm. You just mentioned someone named Zeph went there? Oh, yes. The headman nodded. A former pirate I met a few years ago. The man was called Redfoot Zeph. He retired from that life over 10 years past, opened a sea restaurant called the Barati. He knows a lot more about the Grand Line than I do, no doubt there. If you want to know if your home is there on the Grand Line, Zeph would be the best person to meet. The four of you are welcome to stay here as long as you want. Or you could head to the Barati and meet him in person to hopefully find a way back home. Kakashi nodded, and began to assess their options. Deciding that this Zeph was the best source they had to possibly find a way back to the Elemental Nation and Leaf Village. He came to a decision. Alright. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura. All of the genin looked to their sensei. One still pinned to the floor. We'll stay here in Hama village for 2 days to prepare. Then head to the Barati using one of the smaller boats from the pirate ship. For now, let's get some food and find a place to sleep. And I do not want anyone shelling out blame or accusations at each other at all. Once the genin had nodded, Sakura twice, Kakashi released her. Watching them depart, the gray-haired copy nin dropped in exhaustion. Why do they have to be so much work? Leading Anbu squads or working with Chunin didn't need that much attention for each member. I don't like having to be that hands-on with them at all. But since I'm the only one here. Soon the Jonin's head was buried in his hands. I'm going to have to work harder with each of them. Since I'm the only ninja here that can teach them anything about ninja arts at all. It's not just about Sasuke and his Sharingan anymore. But Naruto and Sakura might need more attention too, until we find a way to get back to the village. Savio, Mr. Kakashi. Are feeling alright? Fine, Mr. Tarm. Just, fine, the lazy Hatake bemoaned. Glancing back to the door, Kakashi reflected on his genin. This really is the kind of situation I do not want to deal with. Our situation probably hasn't even sunk in yet, and they are already in bad shape. Sasuke was almost unresponsive from the shock. Sakura turned into a volatile reeking ball, and Naruto looked like the ground was falling away underneath him. Still, the three of them did pull it together when it really counted in the land of waves. And they get along much better than I did with Rin and Obito. Kakashi smiled at the memories of his team outmaneuvering Zabuza, Sasuke protecting Naruto from Haku, Sakura helping Naruto climb a tree, and shedding tears after the battle passed. I'm confident they'll band together, and remember my lessons about comrades and loyalty. Of course, Kakashi could not have been more wrong. Blinded by his lifelong, terrible case of emotional constipation. Kakashi learns about being a sensei. 4 days had passed since the fight with the Swirlfan pirates. Currently, Team 7 were traveling to the Bharati on smooth waters. Kakashi had some familiarity with navigation, from an Anbu course for missions done along various coastlines and certain mission to the land of water. Thanks to a sea chart and some directions from Tarm, they were getting closer to the Bharati. But the atmosphere on the small ship was tense. The Jonin sighed lightly, casting a careful eye over his students. Sasuke was scanning the coastline, Sakura's full attention lay in a book, while Naruto was doing push-ups on the deck. None of them spoke to each other, but Kakashi was grateful for the lighter moods from them all. The first couple of days had gone badly for each of them. The reality that they may be in a separate dimension truly sunk in over the course of the following day. While the villagers heaped praises and gifts to the shinobi, none were truly in a mood to accept them. Kakashi had initially kept the genin separated. Yet, one night, he found Naruto crying his eyes out. Recalling a certain conversation with Inari, Kakashi became worried and approached the boy. Flashback drip drip. Chk a si kha chim mmm, sniff. Naruto? Slowly, the lost child raised his head, at the familiar voice. Blinking to clear his eyes, he recognized the figure of his sensei, squatting down beside him. Listen. Kakashi began. This is huge shock to all of us. But I don't want you to blame yourself over that genie. We're here and need to look ahead right now. Not back on what could have been different. I don't want these feelings of pain or regret holding you back so much. We'll find a way back, no matter how long it'll take. The Hatake smiled, trying to drive his words further with a happy memory. Then you'll be able to tell Lord Hokage all about. Aahhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhhh. Naruto from his eyes. Kakashi was confused. Unsure of what he said, or how to approach the boy. Hesitantly, cautiously, he reached out to touch Naruto's shoulder. The boy shrugged away from his touch, moaning. Gjii, sniff, gjii. Given his mistake, Kakashi decided to wait instead of speak. I guess. I'll see what comes and try to help. With a sigh, the Jonin resigned himself to something he was always reluctant to do. Talk. About feelings and pain. Naruto. What is it about the Hokage that's bothering you so much? At the mention of his single guiding figure, Naruto began to cry harder, shaking through his body, his head buried in his lap. Several moments passed, with a deep uncertainty growing within Kakashi as Naruto drew tighter into a quiet ball. Frowning in guilty and resignation, he began to stand up. Don't go, the boy murmured. Page. Please, don't go sensei. You're a shallow kame, shaking Naruto's body in a way that couldn't be healthy for anyone. You're the only one who likes me now, a confession came. The only one who doesn't glare at me. Like the Hokage used to in the village. Kakashi's eye widened. Slipping back to the ground, he decided to try his luck. Glares? Who was glaring at you, Naruto? Sniff, Sakura and Sasuke. They blame me for being street sniff stuck here. I know that it's sniff is kinda my fault, but they're looking at me just like everyone else in the village does. Everybody back in the Leaf Village. Hey sniff, they look at my like all the time. Like a germ that they want to disappear, or someone to blame for everything because of the Kyuubi. Ha! Naruto let out a gasp, jarring sideways to fall back in a sprawl. He faced Kakashi. Eyed filled with terror. He'd let that secret slip. His body was trembling, overcome with fear. Please how could I be so stupid? I talked about that aloud and now sensei. Naruto. Kakashi's call was ignored. Naruto. Every call from the Jonin bounced away. Naruto was consumed with panic. Backing away from his teacher. With a reluctant sigh, the Jonin shifted forward. Kakashi's touch was shrugged off again, leading the Jonin into a flash from his past. Vividly, a memory, shaded with grief, came to the surface. of a certain red-haired woman pulling him into her arms. In the wake of Rin's death, the teenaged Kakashi rejected any touch from her. But Uzumaki Kushina wasn't the person to accept the answer, no, from anyone. The friend killer remembered her yanking him into her arms, cradling him softly, whispering assurance that she did not blame him, and to let the pain out of his heart. He'd rejected her advice, but still felt some comfort from her touch. Now, here he was, trying to do that same to her son. Naruto. Kakashi spoke more forcefully. Spurred by the memory, he moved forward, wrapping an arm around the boy and pressing his head into Kakashi's shoulder. The movements were very awkward for the Jonin, even more as he began to speak. Naruto. I already knew about the burden, sealed within you, when I became your Jonin sensei. I probably should have said something earlier. I don't see you as the Kyuubi Kitsune at all. You're one of my cute, little genin. And one of my comrades. Do you remember what I said at the bell test, and in our first encounter with Zabuza? Naruto wasn't crying anymore. The sensation. What? This is what? Sensei. The boy listened carefully, gripping each of Kakashi's words tightly. Naruto. The hand across his scalp withdrew itself, coaxing the boy to raise his head. Blue eyes, raw, terrified, desperate for hope, met Kakashi's single gray one. When you became my genin, I said that anyone who abandons their friends are lower than scum. And against Zabuza, I swore to protect you, along with Sakura, Sasuke and Tazuna. Being a Jinchuriki doesn't matter to me at all. You're still my student. That won't ever change. A simple, powerful and unconditional promise was made. At those words, Naruto felt a new sensation flooding his heart. Up until then, only Iruka and the Hokage had shown such unconditional care for him. To hear it from Kakashi was indescribable. Tears of joy began to creep into the corner of his eyes. But the boy quickly blinked them away. After taking a moment, he glanced back at his sensei. Sensei, I feel really bad because now you, Sasuke and Sakura are stuck here with me. But what hurts more than that is that if we really are in another world, then I can't become the Hokage at all. That was my dream for so long. Especially when other people glared at me. Before I knew I even was a Jinchuriki. Kakashi's eye grew wide. So that's it. His goal, the icon that held him together, is missing. So now there's nothing for him to focus on. Once this realization came, the Jonin had somewhere to start from. Kakashi spoke with Naruto for a long, long while, giving the blonde some reassurance and reminding him that they shouldn't give up on their ambitions so easily. Glancing up to the stars, a new idea came to mind. Naruto. If you really believe that you can become the Hokage, then we have even more reason to work to find a way back home. It might take a long while, but it's still a long way from being impossible. We will make it back to the Leaf Village. And we need to stay together to do it. Can I count on you to do that? For me? And for the Hokage? At his last words, Naruto became confused. How does GJI even know where we are? Kakashi chuckled. That, you don't need to worry about. He'll definitely send some people to look for us if we don't return to the village soon. What I meant was that the Hokage wouldn't want you to stay down and beat yourself up. He'd tell you that a ninja is one who endures, for a purpose or goal. Our goal is to find a way to get back home, and my goal is to do it so you can become the Hokage. Can you do that? Those words perked Naruto up like no others could. With a rare, true smile on his face, the blonde stood up and nodded. Yeah. You can bet you can count on me, sensei, believe it. Smiled at his student's demeanor, Kakashi led him back to the village. Yet, on the way, the pair passed by Sakura. At the sight of Naruto, her eyes darkened into pits of rage. Yet Kakashi's presence dissuaded the pinkette from trying anything. This brought a fresh sigh from Kakashi. I hoped that talking to Naruto would solve everything. Hopefully these issues with Sakura will pass with time. The Jonin could not be more wrong. As the next day, a ruckus could be heard from the village. Initially, Kakashi thought it was a couple of children, but none of his genin. Mr. Kakashi. Glancing up, the Jonin groaned, mixing disapproval and resignation. A parent was leading Naruto and Sakura towards him, gripping both by the shoulders. Sakura was growling at Naruto, who sported a series of bruises on his face. Bruises that weren't there the night before. The Jonin rose to his feet. Guess I'll need to deal with this. Hello there, Mrs. Ray. I take it that noise was coming from my genin? Indeed. This girl was beating up the poor boy, claiming they were here because of his fault. When I ordered her to stop, she even claimed he deserved it for being a selfish monster. There was more that followed, but Kakashi tuned it out. Glaring at Sakura, the girl hmphed and turned away. Her nose stuck to the sky, obsessed with her own blameless self-righteousness. While Naruto stood downcast, but gradually lightened up at Rei's words. Why the girl has no right to talk like that about Naruto at all. After he saved my son from those pirates that attacked us, and has been so helpful repairing our homes. There is nothing about him that could resemble a monster at all. Naruto grinned at her words. Sakura opened her mouth, as a powerful grasp on her shoulder commanded silence. I see, Kakashi answered, in a light tone that belied his mood. Thank you for helping Naruto, Mrs. Rei. Would you mind helping him with those injuries? I need to have a talk with Sakura. His serious tone sparked a shudder of fear in the pinkette. As Naruto left with the woman, Kakashi's hold grew tighter on Sakura's arm, to shunshun them away to the forest. Standing in the trees, the Jonin let go of her and leaned back. Sakura. What did I? Sensei. How can you do this? The girl shouted indignantly. Just because you say it doesn't mean that we aren't stuck here because of Naruto's selfishness. All of us were close to getting back home when that idiot found the bottle instead of just leaving it alone. And then he just made a wish for adventures, and now, we probably aren't even in the same world that home is. And now. Kakashi listened to her rant, trying to be patient. Until the girl began to stride away from him. Sakura. Seizing her attention, the Jonin pondered how to approach her feelings. Anbu teams were so much easier than this. All of them had some problems but never needed this much attention at all. Why do Naruto and Sakura need to be so demanding? First, if you want to blame anyone for us getting stuck here, then you should blame me. I am the one who gave Naruto the idea to wish for more adventures and ways to grow stronger in the first place. And I didn't stop him from making that wish either. Plus. The man scratched his head, embarrassingly. I did take one of those wishes for more Icha books. That might have been useful to get us back home. Although, to get the latest one 3 years early. A bright blush shone through the pervert's mask. A loud, whiny cry tore through the forest. That's not the point, sensei. The immature, self-obsessed girl proclaimed. The point is that we're stuck here, that Naruto made that wish, and that Sasuke's mad at me, and I can't see my mom or dad anymore, and we're completely cut off from anyone help or backup in a strange new world where we don't know good guys from bad guys, and have no concrete way to get home. The girl began panting halfway through her rant. While Kakashi rubbed his throbbing eardrums. Where can I start from here? Wait. Sasuke. How is he mad at you? And how is Naruto responsible for that? He just is, sensei. Was all that came. I was talking to Sasuke about how we were stuck here, cut off from any friends or family that we have. Naruto made that wish, and he's not worried at all because he doesn't have anyone in the Leaf Village to go back to. The boy's an orphan, so there aren't any parents for him to miss while we are here. So he's totally ignorant of how Sasuke-kun and I are feeling, so far away from anyone who cares about us, and that we are missing as well. I bet you have family and friends back in the village that are worried about you too. Kakashi froze at those words, his patience slipping away. Rapidly growing shorter as Sakura continued her rant. It's just like when we were back at the academy. Naruto's so immature, careless, he never does any hard work and made a fool all of himself. It's all because he wasn't raised right with a mother and father at all. Nobody to tell him how other people feel or to think about others than just himself and what he wants. I know it, and was talking about it to Sasuke-kun. He and I both have people back in the village that care about us, but nobody cares about Naruto. So he has it the easiest and he's not thinking about us at all. At that point, Kakashi's face bent over, smacking into his palm. She talked about having no parents to Sasuke. The pinkette's back was turned away. Her eyes closed, arms flailing at random to vent her chaotic frustrations. Then Sasuke-kun got mad and told me to shut up about Naruto. He even. The girl paused, he hands dropping to rub a bruise on her stomach. Sasuke-kun hit me. And told me I didn't know anything and was as bad as Naruto. He even said that. What? Kakashi cut through Sakura's mood. A fresh breeze passed through the trees, sharp as a razor knife. Sakura froze in place, glancing up timidly. Now things were serious. Kakashi was angry. SS Sasuke-kun hit me. He said IW was just as bad as Naruto baka. Kakashi groaned. Filled with frustration, disappointment and livid. So much for teamwork. I'll speak with him, and take care of this Sakura. Oh, good. The girl cried in excitement. So you're finally going to punish Naruto for his selfish screw-up. Within her head, inner Sakura was cheering as a chibi Naruto was beaten up by a chibi Kakashi. Cha, that'll be the best. Naruto will final. Sakura. The girl came back to her sense, stumbling back in fear. The Jonin towered over her, his single eye carrying the darkness of shadow, deep and foreboding. A cold, piercing demeanor cast out in a pulse from him. The man's patience and temper were lost. Listen, and do. Not miss a single word from me. Believe me, it takes a lot to get me to lose my temper, little girl. And even more for me to actively despise someone. But your actions and words are now close to accomplishing both. First, you actually think Naruto is happy that he is an orphan? Or that there is nobody around for him at all? Did you forget that Sasuke is the same? The entire Uchiha clan, Sasuke's own family. All of them are dead. He is just as much an orphan as Naruto is. Did you ever think of how similar they are, and how much your words about having no family can hurt Sasuke? Sakura mind froze. A chilling wall of ice grasped her emotions. Her heart began to sink, down a deep endless hole of despair. Kakashi's slow, heavy words drag her further to those depths. We are here, yes. We are cut off from the Leaf Village, yes. Will we get back or move on somewhere by blaming each other? The Jonin paused. Wait for an answer. When none came, he took a step closer, towering over her. I asked you a question, Sakura. And expect an answer in return. NNB, sniff, no, the girl squeaked. Kakashi leaned back, giving Sakura some room to breath. Yet, his anger remained. If it was, each of us could blame you for wasting the second one of the genie's wishes. A wish that could have been used to take us back to the village. Does Naruto blame you for wasting that wish like Sasuke does? No, the man continued. Kakashi was too far gone to wait for any reply. As for Naruto not having anyone in the village who cares for him. Gloating over that is disgraceful and disgusting for any shinobi to say. Naruto is always alone, and beneath that smile he is deeply depressed and isolated. But, he endures it. Everyone in the village knows about him, and would wish for him to be kicked out of the village. Some would even celebrate if he was murdered. He has suffered, in ways that would break you, and many other people. In all honesty, the singular worst person on this team, and the one who has hurt both him and Sasuke more than anyone else, is you. Kakashi's anger spilled out through his words. Recalling the same comments from her while spying on his team prior to the bell test. The man's rarely felt emotions were now dictating his words, without much care for what they revealed. You have been cared for, loved, praised, and protected by a loving family all your life. If you were in trouble, other people came to help. Or you could run to safety in someone's arms. You have been sheltered from many deep, harsh realities of the world. Sasuke and Naruto have nobody. Their families were stolen from them, and they would give anything to see their parents again. On the day you were assigned to a team, you even had the gall to say that Naruto was lucky to not have any family. Ever since we became a team, Naruto has asked to spend time with you just as you have demanded from Sasuke. And you hit, throw or kick Naruto away in response. Nobody has ever been as physically abusive towards Naruto or you are, Sakura. Even after a battle, you run to Sasuke despite that facts that Naruto could be hurt as well. You abandoned your comrades. Ha! Those accusations echoed through Kakashi. His tirade was cut short. Glancing down, he saw the terror and hurt in Sakura's eyes. HHH. Phoomp. Kakashi sighed deeply, dropping to the ground, overwhelmed. Racked with guilt. A long minute passed, with Sakura recalling all of her sensei's accusations, until Sakura, he spoke up. In a far gentler tone. I will admit. I guess, I am partly to blame. For letting those incidents happen instead of addressing them sooner. And scolding you is more than a little hypocritical. But no more. I will not allow you to hurt Naruto in any way, from now on. Is that clear? Why yees say sensei? The girl sputtered out, past the lump in her throat. Locking eyes with the pinkette, Kakashi saw the deep fear he had sparked in her. Driving his personal guilty deeper. Crawling to his feet, the Jonin stepped forward. The girl tried to step back, fearful of her sensei's next choice. Until she found herself wrapped in a light, apologetic hug. The minuscule warmth clashing with her frozen state invoked her to tremble, but still return it to grasp for relief against the pure fear propelled into her mind. Kakashi was deeply shaken. Bewildered over why he reacted so passionately. Why? Why did I become so angry? Think back to her words. Kakashi was at a loss over his own reaction. She was talking about guilt, blame, orphans, parents. The image of Tsukumo Hatake, and Kakashi life after the White Fang's suicide, came into his head. So that's why I became so angry at her words. Those emotions. The lonesomeness and betrayal after. Sakura. Let going of her, Kakashi knelt down, placing one hand on her shoulder, lightly boring into her eyes. You are the only person between the genin of this team who has had any support or stability in their lives. Naruto and Sasuke have both suffered, but their goals and ambitions prevented them from falling into despair and anger. Now, those goals have been ripped away. That is why Sasuke's lashed out at you. The girl's eyes widened. Looking up, her eyes met Kakashi's, conveying a serious message to her. Do you remember his words to you, that day you were assigned to Team 7? When you first talked to him about Naruto not having any parents? A few moments passed. The girl's eyes grew wide, remembering a promise she made to herself. Sasuke-kun said I was annoying, and it hurt. After that I promised to start treating Naruto nicer. And I've broken that promise. I remember, sensei. She whispered. Good. Now, Naruto is feeling the same way as Sasuke. The difference between them is that I talked to him yesterday and helped to alleviate those feelings. But with Sasuke. Sakura. Tell me exactly what Sasuke said after he hit you. With a few gulps to clear away the lump in her throat, Sakura began to murmur, her voice softer than a mouse. Well, he said that if Naruto had given him the wish from the genie, then he'd have been closer to his goal. But now he can't because the certain someone that Sasuke-kun wants to kill is too far away for him to touch even if he did grow stronger. So now, Sasuke's lost as well. But unlike Naruto's despair, his anger don't have a goal to focus on, and has started to lash out. Kakashi acknowledged. I guess, I'll have to talk to him as well. I'll talk to Sasuke about that. But for you, his grip on her shoulder tightened. No more. Trying to complain about anything around Sasuke will only bring him and you more suffering. And with Naruto, you will not strike, blame, or do anything that would hurt him at all. If something would endanger him or someone else, then you can pull him back, or come and get me. Understood? After Sakura nodded in response, Kakashi sent her back to the village. Once the girl was out of sight, Kakashi slumped to the ground. Thinking back to his prior life, memories of his own Jonin sensei starting filtering through the haze. I never thought that being a sensei meant dealing with all these problems. Things were so easier on teams with more Jonin or in the Anbu. How did sensei deal with all of this between me and Obito? Somehow he could always bring our fights to an end so casually. Dragging himself to his feet, the man moved on to his most difficult student. He found Sasuke, taking a long walk through the forests. Even without a Sharingan, Kakashi clearly saw the clenching shoulders, the rigid steps, and flowing stains on his cheeks. The strain and anger carried by the boy palpable in the air. So, no Itachi to focus on, and his emotions become so volatile he longer has any control over himself. The Jonin sensei took a moment, recalling how he had approached Sakura and Naruto. One of them doesn't really hide what they are thinking, but keeps their feelings under a tight lock. The other was all too willing to express herself at any outlet available, then lashed out instead of looking at her own issues. Sasuke barely shows any emotions but pride, frustration or anger. Maybe it won't be a good idea to just wing this. Stepping out on the branch, he called to the Uchiha. Sasuke stopped, turning to face Kakashi, who saw his fears confirmed in the eyes he met. Behind the unflinching gaze lay a silhouette of the pressure within Sasuke's mind, almost ready to explode. What do you want, Kakashi? I was just talking to Sakura, the Jonin nonchalantly answered. She mentioned some very hurtful words that caused quite a violent reaction from you. Don't worry. She was in the wrong, and I scolded her for it. But for now, I want to talk about you. Sasuke froze at the mention of that incident. His left fist, the one he sunk into Sakura's gut, clenched at the memory. I've got nothing to say to you. And I don't want to share any words. I'm fine, and there's nothing for you to say. As Sasuke stepped away, Kakashi decided to test the waters. Really? Striking a comrade isn't really acceptable behavior from the Rookie of the Year. Nor is it something I will let you walk away from. Naruto already had the courage to share his feelings with me, and felt more than a little better afterwards. Especially since he's cut off from his goal as well and… Shut up! Sasuke angrily proclaimed, facing away from Kakashi, his body trembled volatilely. That loser and I are completely different in our goals. His is a fantasy that can't ever be reached. Mine is an ambition that will come to reality. He wants people to admire him, and I don't care about what others think about me. We're both orphans, so yeah, I got angry when I heard Sakura complaining. But I knew all of my family and my clan, and all of them were stolen from me by… The image of Itachi dominated Sasuke's thoughts. Almost taunting how he was now so far away, and still hasn't paid for what he did to their clan. I was so close. So close to finally having the power to make him pay. Naruto and Sakura stole the opportunity out from under me. And now I'm stranded here, far away from wherever he is. And I still haven't made him pay for what he did to my clan. Sasuke took another step, moving further away from Kakashi. While the Jonin eyed his student, carefully. Alright. I have at least one angle to approach from. And, this is another talk that is probably overdue. The man waited, spying a large tree in Sasuke's path, and came to a decision. Once the Uchiha was close, a trail of ninja wire sprung out, encircling the tree and the boy, who found himself pinned down within a second. Once enough wire covered the genin, Kakashi pulled it taut. Grr, what? Let me out, Sasuke began to thrash, wildly. How could I have been trapped like this? How? Naruto, come out and finish this prank, you loser. Sasuke. Kakashi called his attention. As his student faced him, the Jonin sensei met a pair of Sharingans blazed with anger. Look. I'm not the kind of person to talk about personal issues. Nor do I like to probe into someone else's at all. But, I still have to live up to my own rules. Those who break the rules are scum. But, those who abandoned others are worse than scum. There are a lot of different ways someone can be abandoned. And I'm guilty of all of them. But that is why I looked at those past failures and want to avoid them as much as I can. What does that have to do with me? Sasuke shouted. You just acknowledged that Sakura was the one at fault, so she needed some sense to be knocked into her. She wasted one wish that could have been saved to get us back to the village. And Naruto brought us here with last one. His teeth clenched in fury, nearly cracking one of them. I never even wanted to be with this team in the first place. I am an avenger, and I need to become stronger than my prey. I was about to wish for someone who could teach me what I needed to learn to destroy Itachi. Sasuke grew pale and silent, mentioning his brother by name, for the first time in 5 years. Itachi? Kakashi coaxed. Don't you dare mention his name. The Avenger roared, his Sharingan blazing. You truly hate him that deeply, don't you? It was a statement, not a rhetorical question. Sasuke. I want you to do something for me, and I won't accept no for an answer, the Jonins promised, tightening the string. I want you to tell me everything. Everyone that happened that night of the massacre. Don't argue. He cut off the boy's refusal. This is eating you up inside. Making you unfocused and weak. Think about it. How easily did I catch you with these wires when you already knew I was here? You're a talented kid, and very advanced for your age. Nobody can deny that. But focusing on your ambition too much made you lose sight of your surroundings and walk right into my trap. Sasuke's frown darkened, before growing softly at those words. Now, part of his anger was directed at himself. Kakashi noticed how much his praise alleviated the boy's darkness, and offered a compromise. But, I'm not an unfair person. Asking you to reveal the darkest day of your life is a hefty request. So. Kakashi took a deep breath, followed by 2 more. Bracing himself for what was to come. So I'll share my own worst memory with you. Well, closing his eye in response. One of the shut up, Sasuke shouted, aggression and outrage dominating his voice. What makes you think you know anything about it? It's easier for you to talk. Nothing in your life can ever compare to me. Nobody else has ever lost their entire family like I did. Everything single person I knew and cared about was destroyed. By the man I admired the most in this world. You can't compare to that." Sasuke's voice began to grow deep, etched with iron-clad conviction in his words. But just as the metal can be, Sasuke's beliefs were strong yet brittle. They could not bend, and would be broken sharply under the right conditions. "Maybe if I came and killed everyone who's ever meant anything to you, then you'd understand me. Maybe then I'd listen to you. Then, you'd have some idea of how I feel." Kakashi nodded, in agreement. "That might be true. It's an interesting theory. But I'm afraid it wouldn't really work, even if we were back in the Leaf Village. You're a little late to put it to the test. You see, everyone that you're already talking about, has already died." Sasuke's eyes shot open, wide with surprise. His body was still, the tense anger blocked by pure shock. "Sasuke. Every single person who I have cared that deeply about has been dead for more than 10 years past. I've been around longer than you have, kid. And I've seen, well, a lot more than my share of troubles. You're not the only one who's lost somebody. Or the only one who has lost every single person they deeply cared for. And the first person I lost," Kakashi's voice faltered. He succeeded in breaking the cloud of anger with Sasuke, but needed to go a step further. "And the first one of them to die was someone I admired more than anyone else, and yet he betrayed me with his death. That man was my father, Hatake Tsukumo. Tell me, Sasuke, have you ever?" Kakashi's voice faltered again, struggling to speak past old wounds of loss and regret. "This is harder than I thought. And I knew it would be very, very difficult. Have you ever heard of the White Fang of the Leaf?" The boy shook his head, almost in a daze. "I thought so. That was the name other people gave my father. Many admired his skill and talents in battle. No one more so than I, in fact. Even the fourth Hokage one praised that my father made even the Sannin pale in comparison. Everyone looked up to my father. Especially me. I measured everything I did against him, and wanted to surpass him. Mostly because other people always measured my abilities against his. Being trapped in his shadow was a strange case. I loved it more than anything, yet my desire was to grow beyond it. To make him and other people recognize me as better than him. Every word that my father spoke was something I took to heart. Tell me, does this sound familiar, Sasuke?" The genin had begun to tremble. Not from rage or confusion, but awe and pain. Sasuke's mind was so dazed. The boy nodded at Kakashi's words, recalling his own adoration of Itachi. Kakashi continued. "I see. My mother died when I was very young. To the point that my father raised me on his own. Until he was the first one to die. By taking his own life." Now Sasuke gasped. He found it unfathomable. A great ninja, one higher than even the Sannin, taking their own life. Kakashi barely noticed it. A tear trickled from his eye. The man was barely able to stand, his threatening the break. The man spoke of his own memories and feelings so rarely. Calling them back was pushing his mind to the breaking point. So, the Jonin fell on practiced habits, cutting himself off from his feelings, to complete the job he had set for himself. "It happened when I was 7 years old. Almost the same age you were at the massacre. There was an incident on a mission, and my father was blamed for it. Everyone in the village turned against him, angry at how their hero had betrayed them. In the end, the shame was so much. After my father took his own life, I became obsessed with becoming the perfect ninja. I followed every rule in the book. Chastised everyone for doing the wrong things. I became obsessed with my goal, driven by how much I hated my father, for betraying everything I left towards him. In the end, that same attitude, it caused every one of my team to die. Their deaths are my fault, Sasuke. Because I was the same as you are. You cling to your hatred and need for revenge because it is the only way to keep you from falling into despair." Silence. Unnerving. Oppressing. Several moments passed. Followed with more. All in silence between both men. As Kakashi tried to regain some composure with his emotions, and these revelations sunk into Sasuke. Sasuke clenched his eyes shut. Cursing his sensei for binding his arms. Trying to blink them. He failed, and a series of tears leaked from his eyes. following the bridge of his nose and dropping to the ground. Kakashi ignored the tears, out of respect, then continued. You and I certainly haven't had a charmed life, exactly. We both had talents that were thought as prodigious in our studies at the academy, and led to others developing admiration, envy or jealousy for them. Yet, all that we cared about were our own skills and to follow the examples set forth by men we idolized. Men who betrayed us, leaving us lost, confused, and filled with anger. Now Sasuke, you heard about my life, and we're not leaving this place until you tell me about the night of the massacre. With that, the clearing grew silent. Sasuke was struggling to breath. The shock of how accurate Kakashi's revelations collined with the Uchiha's rocked him to his core. While the memories of his own worst nightmare threatened to spill out even more shame, sadness and regret from his heart. Kakashi was patient. Even as 30 minutes passed, he didn't move. Until his patience paid off. Slowly, hesitantly, Sasuke began to talk about that day. How he had found his home littered with bodies. Where he found his brother. What Itachi had done to him afterwards. From there, Sasuke's anger began to grow again, talking about his pledge to hunt and destroy Itachi. No matter what. Before recalling where he and Kakashi were, and trembling with rage. Kakashi was shaken to his core. The Tsukuyomi. I read of it back when I was learning about Sharingan. But I never imagined the truth, or that Itachi had administered it to Sasuke. And on top of that, I was wrong. Kakashi hung his head, but kept a firm grip on the wire binding Sasuke to the tree. I'm going to have to think about this a lot, but for now. Sasuke. Do you recall how I talked about building yourself up through missions, training, and overcoming danger? Facing the Jonin, Sasuke nodded. I will confess. I was something of a hypocrite back then. I was planning on just having our team doing more D-rank missions for a long while. I wasn't even planning on any extra training back in the village. We succeeded in the land of waves and I didn't see any reason to change a system that worked. But now things are different. We're stuck in a pretty dangerous place. But unlike back there, we don't have a village to fall back to if things become too dangerous. We only have each other to count on. And I need to make sure you, Sakura and Naruto can depend on each other. It might be the only way to ensure that we can survive long enough to find a way back to the village. I need to trust that you will care and support us, not just yourself. Otherwise, you are no different than Itachi. Stop. Kakashi forcibly cut off the shout on Sasuke's lips. Getting angry at me won't change that truth. If you focus only on yourself and your lost ambitions, then you are no different from Itachi. And no different from how I was, when my own feelings caused every one of my teammates to die. I was listening to you. Itachi's words truly have imprinted themselves in your heart. His challenge for you to grow, and try to kill him by filling yourself with hatred. But, have you ever thought about doing something different, Sasuke? I'm not talking about giving up on revenge. I'm talking about defying what Itachi told you to do. Gaining the Mangekyo Sharingan would mean killing someone that you care about. That could include Naruto and Sakura. But that is not who you are. When we encountered the Demon Brothers, or faced Zabuza and Haku on the bridge, were you thinking about Itachi at all? No, Sasuke confessed. And do you regret anything there? Even when you jumped in front of Naruto, to protect him, do you regret that at all? Kakashi had a plan, and was praying for it to work. No, what is this about? Sasuke replied. Well, to start. You did defeat 2 Chunin single-handedly in the first case. But, in the second one, it means that you were content in that moment. And it was where you risked losing both your life and your revenge to save Naruto. Plus, that is where you awakened your Sharingan, at long last. When he was the furthest thing from your thoughts. Slowly, Sasuke's eyes changed. Not into a dojutsu, but a new light flickered in them. Kakashi decided to press the topic home. The one time when you weren't focusing on Itachi was during that mission. And, you performed spectacularly. Even in our encounter with Zabuza, you and Naruto deceived and outmaneuvered him. Someone as dangerous as me. And later, it was after Naruto arrived that your Sharingan awakened. You grew more powerful through fighting with a comrade, instead of ignoring them. Something that contradicts Itachi's words. To tell you the truth, Sasuke, Itachi ruined your life enough as it is. So why should you follow his words and his instructions if they came from the source of the destruction of your clan? Those words broke through. Sasuke could literally feel a fresh creak in his mind. All his life, he'd never thought to defy his brother at all. nor did he actually question why he was following a murder's advice. Finally, at long last, Kakashi released the ninja wire, letting Sasuke fall to the ground, completely slack. You could still follow Itachi's words, Sasuke. Or, you could prove that he was wrong. And find a different way to prove that. I want you to think about everything I've said, but be warned. Sasuke's head rose, facing the lethal copy nin, catching the tone of his words, cold and harder than steel. I will not let you hurt Naruto or Sakura anymore. Someone like Itachi would hurt them, even kill them for getting in the way of their ambitions. Do you truly want to become the very man you hate and despise so deeply? Or do you want to lose even more people in your life than you already have? We will find a way back to the village, Sasuke. But we need to depend on each other to get there. I'll leave you to think about it. The Jonin Shun signed away, leaving Sasuke to his thoughts. Back in the village, he entered the house Tarm had loaned to the ninja, where he collapsed, exhausted and drained from the emotional talk. Flashback end. Now, in the middle of the sea, Kakashi look over his genin. All of those conversations really took their toll on me. And to think such problems were simmering just below the surface for each of them. Since this team was formed, I've been too complacent. None of them should have gotten that far out of hand in the first place. Still, his eyes casting around the calm setting. Now they are interacting more amicably than ever before. And my bonds towards each of them individually have grown from those forced conversations. Maybe this was for the better. Naruto had moved from push-ups to sit-ups. Taking his teacher words to heart, the boy approached Kakashi before they left for advice on how to improve and be of more help to everyone. The Jonin encouraged him to train and exercise more in case they were attacked by pirates. The boat was quite small, leaving sparring out of question. But it did have enough room for physical exercise and made taijutsu practice more difficult from the shifting balance on the waves. Sasuke was gazing out to the horizon, lost in deep thought, clearly trying to make sense of the eye-openers that Kakashi forced on him 2 days before. Still, the boy had given a quiet apology to Sakura one day past, and carried himself differently than before. While Sakura was trying something new. After surprising both Sasuke and Naruto with her own apologies, she held true to her promise to no longer hurt Naruto. Despite some very close calls out of old habits. Now, her nose buried in a book from Tarm's collection to learn more about the Navy and different islands in the world they planned to explore. Deciding to take an optimistic stance towards his team, Kakashi nodded to himself. Before, hey, there's a ship off in the distance. Believe. Sure enough, Kakashi saw Naruto pointing on head at the outline of a ship against the horizon. End. The chapter is end here. Now we will meet with another chapter, so don't forget to subscribe our channel for more content like this.